An anime's never been so dead on arrival than One Punch Man Season 3. With less than 3 months until the series officially airs in October 2025, you would expect a lot of fans to be jumping for joy, excited, and hyped up, especially since there was an entire panel at Anime Expo dedicated to One Punch Man Season 3. But when fans went to this Anime Expo and they dedicated a big chunk of their time, over an hour of their time, to wait in line and get in to see the event, they were greeted with basically nothing. The entire Anime Expo event for One Punch Man Season 3 showed no new trailer, no new key visuals, nothing. It was a nothing burger of an event. And if you're wondering why this is such a big deal, it's because of the information that we have gotten so far, or the lack of information we have gotten to this very point. So let's speed run this and get everybody up to speed. One Punch Man is easily one of the most recognizable brands and titles within anime culture. A lot of people that don't even watch anime or read manga will recognize Saitama, will recognize One Punch Man. And the fact is that a lot of people for many years have been very hyped about seeing a continuation of the One Punch Man series, One Punch Man Season 3, especially since it'll be covering one of the best arcs of the entirety of the manga, at least thus far. And so, even with potentially an uphill battle with JC's staff of having maybe not as good animation as Season 1, people at the very least were hyped up and excited to see maybe the similar quality as Season 2 of One Punch Man. So, when the announcement arrived, obviously there was a lot of joy and happiness in the community. But then, things started to take a downward spiral, with the lack of information, a lack of trailers, and eventually when a trailer was finally given, it was just a bunch of PNGs and still frames and stuff, and flipping the characters back and forth as a PNG image. It drew a lot of concerns, myself included. I talked about this. But then, as months went on by, there was no other trailer that was released, and that was about 7 months ago, when we got our first real look at the anime. We fast forward to today, Anime Expo, which is one of the biggest events for anime culture in the West, at least when it comes to conventions and stuff, it had nothing to show for itself. One Punch Man had an entire hour dedicated event, and nothing new was given to us whatsoever. The only thing that you could take away from this is two things. For one, they still don't really have much of a product to show, and secondly, the only thing that they do have to show for themselves is basically just character image, like a character key visual. That's it. That's all they've been giving us, and it's very concerning, especially when we're this close to the release of Season 3, and this is all they've been giving. They've just been giving us literally character illustrations, no new trailer, nothing. We don't even have a staff listing, and that is the biggest damning thing about all of this. I understand that people are royally upset about the fact that the convention, the 1 hour panel for One Punch Man at Anime Expo 2025 had nothing. But the biggest damning thing about all of this is the fact that there is still no staff listing. We still don't know who is directing the season. We don't know who is animating it. We just know it's JC staff. We don't know who exactly is working on the said series. So there is a lot of theories, a lot of speculation now within the community that are assuming that the One Punch Man anime is just so bad, and it is in such a disastrous state, that people assume that animators just don't even want to be associated with the product. For instance, animators don't even want their name on the credit listing because it is so bad. This is the theories and speculation that is now circulating around in the community when it comes to One Punch Man discussion. Now, obviously, this is just theory crafting and speculation, conspiracy theory, but obviously, at this point in time, it's starting to just seem likely, because it's like, you don't see this. This is not a normal thing to see. You don't have a series this close to airing, and then there is no staff listing. Usually when that happens, it means that there is a lot of people either leaving the project or not even wanting to be associated with the said project. So yeah, and I have definitely been in contact with animators in the past that legitimately have had their name stricken from the credits of an episode because they didn't like how their work turned out. I have personally talked with animators that have done this. So when you factor that in, it seemed like that might be the situation of One Punch Man Season 3, but to more of an extreme extent. Now, with all that being said, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but it's a very small light. Like, I'm talking, it is so small, you're huffing pure hopium at this point. Like, there's nothing really there. It's complete hopium, and even I, that tries to stay optimistic, I'm not really optimistic about it. But basically, there was an announcement that in August of this year, a month away from now, at the end of August, by the way, there will be another One Punch Man panel apparently in New York City. And there will be basically a bunch of information about One Punch Man, and this is most likely when we will get anything in terms of One Punch Man related content for the anime, maybe a new PV trailer or whatever, and maybe a potential fabled staff listing. But the thing is even when that day arrives, at this point, the overall marketing and advertisement for One Punch Man has just been catastrophic. It has been such a massive L from start to finish, I just don't even know what to say. Because as I opened up with this video, One Punch Man is a very well-known product. People that don't watch anime, people that don't read manga, know who Saitama is. They recognize One Punch Man. And the fact that the product has not been marketed or advertised at all, really, and it's in such a sorry state, is inexcusable. It is terrible to see what is going on with One Punch Man and how the product is just legitimately being sabotaged. It's honestly, it is one of the worst sabotages I think I have seen for a series, especially this high profile. It is wild how sabotaged it's getting right now. But overall, the biggest takeaway from this entire situation is that One Punch Man Season 3 is not looking to be good. It obviously could turn out to be just something absolutely incredible and all that. There is a possibility, there is a timeline where that happens, but I don't think we're in that timeline. I don't think we're in a timeline to where One Punch Man Season 3 is going to turn out a-okay, because like I said, the everything around this, the circumstances around it, it is not looking good. Giving no trailer, no staff listing, or less than 3 months away, not normal. That is not normal. Anyone that has watched anime and been involved in the anime and manga community knows that is not normal. You don't see that. So, what do? Well, we wait. We wait to see when August arrives what information we get, how the anime is potentially going to look, and then we see if it's actually going to be good or not. But until then, I'll leave it at that. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.